Hunters. Life on the blockchain.
Oh, look who's back. After a hiatus, the Bounty Hunters podcast is back with a vengeance. Welcome back to Bounty Hunters. I've been extremely busy with working on building Grego AI to find bugs using AI, elite AI methods. But I figure we have to keep the podcast going because it's awesome. So, decided to bring on one of the biggest brains in this space. A brain so big, it only fits in Bulgaria. So, welcome, welcome, Mr. Flacko, to the podcast.
Welcome, welcome. How am I supposed to stay serious after such an introduction?
I don't even know what that intro is, man, but it's a good one.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Look, it's just been so busy, man. I mean, I recall my old life of sitting in front of the screen 7 days a week, just freestyle hunting bugs. And I look back with rose-colored glasses, how good it was. And those were the days. And now I'm running this company, traveling around everywhere. And it's a different story now.
It is, yeah. Like watching it from the side, I can confirm it has nothing in common.
So, just for the listeners out there, so Flacco works here with us at Grego AI, where he is the head of bugs, where he does all matter of things related to bugs, and he's a very great guy to work with. And so I thought I had him on the pod. He also has an interesting security background. So let's kind of kick it off, man. Give us some background here. What's going on with you? Who are you? Who's this Flacco with this Benjamin Franklin avatar?
Yeah, so I'm a humble security researcher with a modest career in Web3. I start like my full background includes a few years as a web developer, as most of the guys in the space. And yeah, then I discovered Web3 security, started just looking around, as a hobby mostly. My interest picked up, and at some point, I had to, make a choice. So I went all in like 2 years ago, perhaps. And yeah, it's been a wild ride ever since. At first, I was all in into Solidity, like everybody else, and uh, shortly after, I discovered Golang and Cosmos SDK, and I kind of went into DLT and just infra projects, like almost 100%, because it mostly it has been more relevant to my past experience. So yeah, I then went on to learn Rust and look into a bunch of different projects. And yeah, this is a concise summary of my ride so far.
It, doesn't it seem like another lifetime ago? Like what you're talking about with you're using Go, learning Rust, like learning a language. You had no AI assistance, right? Is it just me, or does it seem like it's a complete different universe?
Uh, it definitely is a different thing, but I could argue that you can still go like old school. And I actually looked into this C-Lang recently, and I decided to give it a go. Like, I just found some book online, and I barely used AI to, teach myself C. This could be me, I don't know. One of our researchers loves using AI to, learn new things and generate documents for them. But yeah, I like to go old school and just read a book, play with the codes. have some hands-on experience. But yeah, nowadays with AI, you can definitely speed up the whole process significantly. You can have AI be your teacher, basically.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like learning programming languages because you get to stopping points where you start saying, okay, well, like the book or the materials you're reading doesn't explain something that you're thinking about, and then you'd have to search in the internet or just think about it for a long time and try to get to that answer. Whereas I guess you can speed that up with AI, obviously, but I don't know. Am I just nostalgic for the for like what you're doing, nostalgic for the old learning methods where you just crack a book and just labor through it and really it is like I haven't done an A/B test to see which way I'm retaining more information using AI to assist or just doing it the old school way.
Uh, like the immediate answer that comes to mind is that you know, AI through like bugs and like bugs when you are, for example, trying to code up something, uh, makes your brain lazy. Because I remember having to, in my dead days, I had to Google stuff for 4 hours on end just to get
Hmm.
to a resolution. And now you can just write a simple sentence in a prompt, and you'll most probably have your problem solved like in a minute. So yeah, I haven't like I've coded a lot recently, like a lot,
Hmm.
but I haven't done a code review on a single line of code. So not really learning anything.
Vibe coding. You know, one of my things when I was first learning, actually any language, but when I was a teenager, I was teaching myself. I think it was C at the time, and then PHP more in depth after that. And I remember doing the same thing you were doing, like look for something, and then I'd be searching online, like, oh, what is like a global variable? Like, why can't it do this? Or just some question, and I would sit and think, like, I wonder what it's like to be like an expert programmer. Like, the no way they're on Stack Overflow. Like, no way an expert programmer, someone that knows what he's doing, is on this site. Like me, wasting hours trying to get to a solution, and now you could be that guy with AI. Like you have that expert programmer next to you in the passenger seat. And yeah, I mean, do you keep learning the same amount, or do you just do that quick handoff and then not even worry about it, just like a spell check?
To be honest, with how things been going lately, uh, and how much stuff, I'm trying to create, uh, in parentheses vibe code. Uh, it, there are a few skills that I use that basically help me narrow down the plan for what's to be, implemented. And I first of all, I never write a single line of code myself. And then as I told you earlier, I never do code review either, because if I have to do it, I would probably have created like 1% of what I've created over the past few months.
Yeah.
Like it would be way slower. And of course, it's important to mention these are, internal tooling and projects that need to work. You know, they don't need to be perfect or like maintainable over the course of tens of years. We just need them now and we need them to work. So yeah,
Yeah.
this is not serious dev work.
Yeah, like internal tools are so great with the vibe coding. The things that deploy facing the internet, facing customers. I mean, that's where you have more issues. We don't have to worry about that. Like as a security company, it's like we're just doing internal tools. Who cares? All right, maybe we'll kind of break off a bit. Let's. So everyone's been hearing about where the fuck is this podcast? This guy never posts anymore, And I say I'm always busy with Grego AI, this company. So maybe I'll give some background here, and we'll talk about like what you're doing at the company, what the hell we're doing there, and maybe it'll be interesting to people. So let me just give the background on Grego AI and what happened. So like last summer, I was um, I was happily looking for bugs, and this was GPT 2 or 3 was out. I think it was still a slop factory, and I had multiple people approach me with different AI bug hunting tools, and really they were just it was all slop. It was all invalid findings, and it was all noise. And I said, okay, it's like I see the potential, but it's not there yet. And then I was introduced to my co-founder Greg through through Jeff at Rare Skills, and he said, "Hey, I met this young Argentine kid who developed this AI bug hunting tool, and I want you to check it out. I think it'd be great." And I was skeptical. I was like, "Okay, sure. I'll take a look." And so we connected, and he started sending me some bugs, and I looked at the write ups, the reports, and I was like, "Whoa! Like these are impressive." And I was able to invalidate the initial ones, but not due to slop. It was just due to them being invalid, like using fiat transfer tokens, or it was like a critical impact, but it was one way, stuff like that. So like they were legit findings, but it was just not legit, if you know what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
So this really it was intriguing. I said, okay, this guy's onto something. And so we start talking, and I was in Italy at the time. So Greg just flies out on a whim, a 12-hour flight, and lands on my doorstep. And we start cooking in some apartment for a week. And I was going to invest. And then the further I went down the rabbit hole, I said, hey, let's co-found this because I think we can make a big impact on security. And so we both had the same thing in mind. And then we got together, we co-founded this and bootstrapped this up until around December, January, and then we were able to get some venture funding led by Cyberfund, and those are the guys who created Lido. If you know them, great team. So they led the round, and then from then, so in the past 6-7 months now, we started building the business, and we ended up hiring some. Like the first 6 months of the business was like, no one knows what this company is. No one knows the technology that we have. How do we make it known? How do we stand out against all the known brands that are now creating their own AI bug hunting tools? And how do we get the message out? And I thought the best way to do this, because I had seen, and I'm not going to badmouth anybody, but I had seen the usual suspects out there talking about finding vulnerabilities with their AI, and they didn't post any receipts. And every security researcher knows trust but verify, and we couldn't verify. So I didn't want to be that kind of firm with that kind of reputation. So I decided to only post findings that we could objectively verify. Anyone could look at it and read the whole report, see the GitHub commit, everything. And so that was what we did. We went after bounty programs. Also, we did that because a lot of benchmarks were out there, and we believed those were flawed. They could be manipulated. So we decided to go after the hardest bugs, which are bug bounties, obviously. And so we were able to find over 500,000 in bug bounties over the course of 6 months. We found that very large one, saving 27.7 million, earning a quarter million on that one. And this was all from the AI. So we were able to do that, and we've posted write-ups on the X account in depth. And so that was the whole motivation. Is the first initial foray here was to just put out, like, here's the brand, here's what we're doing, pay attention to us. And so far it's worked. And we've done some audits with clients. Now we're starting to expand. We built out kind of a SaaS platform so you can go in there and put your repo in, and then we work with you and help you run the audit. Kind of a hybrid model that we're doing. So that's kind of where we're at now. So that's pretty cool. And now we're raising a seed round to really like go to the next iteration of this company, which is building a whole security operating system that's like a proactive AI white hat defense system. So really cool things in the pipeline. So that's the story of the company. So I think, well, the first guy we brought on was you, right? I think you were the first hire.
Uh, Possible. I
I
can't
think
really remember because
I know.
my memory is bad. But yeah, I think it was the three of us starting like all together. I think it was on 12th of January. But yeah, these are details.
Yeah, because you were always in my mind because we met first time at ETH Sophia,
That's right.
right? And I just remember like you just seemed like a good guy. Like you seemed like a very smart guy, and you had a cool demeanor, and I think you like to drink a few beers. And I was like, oh, this guy's pretty cool. and so I was thinking, I was like, we need a guy to help like triage these bugs and go through like do all kinds of stuff because I'm trying to build a company and I need this head of bugs to kind of manage the whole process. And I was thinking, man, who would be a great candidate? And then I thought of you, and I was like, I gotta call Flacko, man. Yeah, I think this is January, right? January, February.
uh, like the timeline's a bit different. Like Eat Sophia was in September of 2025, and like you hit me up when we met at first in that at that dinner. And you were like, "Hey, can you triage like Golang finds or something like that?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." Then it's January, and we start working together. And you pay me a visit in my hometown in February, and you hit me up with, "Hey, I can't take care of everything no more at that pace while we are, smoking cigars,
That's right.
drinking fine whiskey." And yeah,
Excellent. It's true. And then we polished off the night with a nice kebab. I recall this. So this is
yes,
good. This was the intro meeting. Yeah, that's right. So this was because so we were doing these finds, doing these runs, and bootstrapping it. And when I was getting findings that were in, we were starting to go like test other languages outside of Solidity, and we started doing Go and Rust. And my experience there is very limited. So I was like, okay, how am I supposed to do this? And at that time, you couldn't really use AI to help you that much on like, I mean, you still need to manually verify a finding because
yeah,
all bug hunters know this, right? And so I needed an expert to do that. And I think that's what pointed me initially towards your universe.
yeah. You, I at least can never trust, AI like in absolute 100% terms. There will, I feel like, always be that 1% or even 0.1% of suspicion that it screwed up something. So yeah, validating stuff, even though you can, employ AI and make the process quicker and easier for you, you still need some knowledge, whatsoever, to put a stamp on it and be confident in your judgment.
Yeah, I wonder when that disappears. Like, I mean, we're dealing with a probabilistic system that can generate two different outputs for the same input, multiple outputs, and yeah, you have that fear, and it's gotten better, obviously, with the application that you're talking about. But when does it become like where you can just say, "Hey, validate the bug," and you don't have to handhold it?
I mean, isn't this the question that everybody asks
Mhm.
themselves? Uh, it. I mean, I can speculate, but it's really hard to like to even anticipate, man. It's at some point things are going, you know, at a very fast pace development wise, and how AI is progressing, and then there is a period of 3 months when it feels like nothing's happening, you know, and it has stalled. So yeah, I'm not to be to be frank, I'm not like too much into following the AI scene, and you know how I'm not familiar with machine learning or how any of that stuff are trained or developed at Anthropic or OpenAI or any AI lab. So it's hard for me, to to anticipate. But generally speaking, I think I would expect this to be to be achieved like in no more than, I don't know, 5, 10 years. I mean, it's a relatively it's achievable. It
Mm,
should be achievable.
that's a big timeline, 5 to 10 years. Wow.
I'm trying to be optimistic.
Yeah. But I go on crypto Twitter and it tells you 5 to 10 days.
Yeah, it's been telling 5 to 10 days for 2 years now.
Yeah. Who knows, man? Uh, all right. We hired you on. You became the king of bugs at Grego AI. And then we said, "Hey, look, there's just too many bugs to look at here and go through." And then, you you cleaned up the whole thing, like it was completely disorganized. You built these systems and made this, like, this has been an evolution, right? But you made it much more organized, and we can actually wrap our head around what the hell we're doing here, spending God knows how much on the early versions with the compute costs, and eventually bring on, who do we bring on next? Was it? I think it was Babs. I think it was Babs, and then it was Blade or Scion. So we have, if you guys know those names, we have Babs, we have the Blade, and we have Scion. Maybe I'll get all these guys on here eventually, but each
Yeah.
has each has their own kind of specialty. But I think I'm a good judge of character. It seems like everyone is just really outperforming my expectations. Like, I'm really impressed with some of the output I see from you guys, and it's just incredible. Like, I look at that, I'm doing my own thing, and then I look at what you guys are doing, and it's kind of crazy. Maybe you could, like, give some background. Like, what's kind of the day to day? What have you been seeing, in the past couple months? Maybe you could, like, tell what we've been up to from your perspective.
Yeah, so I'll start from kind of like from January, when I was just triaging bugs and I didn't have any bird's eye view of like the big picture that's happening, and it was just the two of you with Greg and the three of us that were triaging bugs. But yeah, then in February, when you know I changed positions and I saw what's up in the back office, to call it so. My OCD was staying like at max level for like 3 weeks with no break whatsoever. you know, it- there was some organizing to do, as you mentioned. But yeah, once that was out of the way, um, I kind of started having mental space to digest in everything that's happening. And I remember you uh, just when we had calls, all of us, you would be like, "Hey man, this thing has there is a lot of potential. There are a lot of good good things coming." And with some projects that I personally had triaged, we had more or less hiccups, and not perhaps that many valid findings as I wish. Uh, and I was like, okay, like I trust him, obviously, I have no suspicions, but I'm not sure if I really understand the vision. But then when I started having a view of what everybody is working on, how everybody is progressing, the different projects, the different findings, basically everything, I started chanting the very same thing that you did. And I then understood. And I was like, damn, this thing really is like an untamed beast, and it really does have a lot of potential. I mean, when you see everything that's happening in parallel, it really is a different point of view that gives you the whole perspective. But yeah,
Yeah.
after yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like when we talk about like what you were looking at, so like the first 6 months, like we were talking about, is looking for bugs and bounties, and you're going through all these findings, and it's like, yeah, and we're tuning the tool right based upon feedback from yourself and the other researchers. But in the end, like we're trying to go after the hardest set of bugs, right? So half the battle is not even scanning the contract, scanning the repo, but it's like any true bounty hunter knows, like it's about where you look. So, okay, like to be honest, like your chances are quite mediocre if you're just scanning a GitHub repo. Like you need to use all your strategies and like look at prior audit reports, see what's out of scope, check the on-chain state, look at dependencies, look at composability, uh, governance forums. Like there's so many different vectors to look at, and we were just kind of like just hardcore throwing in repos. I mean, this was like version one of the tool, and just saying, hey, let's just use a lot of compute. Let's scan all these for bugs. And I don't know what our hit rate was initially. Like for like we obviously could have done it better on V1.
Let's not
Uh,
talk about it.
but this is like let's just brute force this thing and go hard on it. But yeah, like thinking about it, if we had a fully designed product that could branch out and be like a true bounty hunter, I mean, which I think some other guys are trying to build something like this. You'll see different variations of this, but some of the king bounty hunters, I know they're using AI in their workflow to kind of automate some of these. We already automated like the watching scripts back in the day, but now you can just upgrade all of that and use AI to help you hunt, which is pretty cool. So we were, just to put context around there, we were just kind of going hard, raw dogging this thing, and just iterating as we advanced internally on this product.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anybody who has managed to one-shot it, from the first try. So it is understandable that you kind of went crazy, during the dawn of the tool, and I don't blame you for that. In your spot, I would probably have done the same. Uh, and yeah, going back into February, March, I noticed we are uh, doing quite a lot of runs. Uh, and as you mentioned, picking a target isn't just like a matter of going on any platform and picking whatever bug bounty has a very big max reward, or is just has a new asset. It's quite a lot more involved in that if you really want to have an edge. If
Mm-hmm.
you're just trying to burn money on tokens, yeah, sure. uh, but yeah, back in March or April perhaps, like it was I had a very strong opinion. I don't know how things really materialized there, but I remember suggesting that we really, kind of slow the pace down just to reevaluate uh, what are we what are we really doing, and how we are doing it, because we've already tested it out, significantly. We have some results, but we also have, some feedback and some points to perhaps look at, you know, meditate on and and address, because you ideally want to improve it. Because as we said, you cannot one shot it. It's first of all, it's a non-deterministic system, and second of all, it's new to everybody. And yeah, these I think I just suggested to everybody, hey, let's let's just slow down. And over the course of, the past 2 or 3 months, we've that basically worked on the on our tool, on other tooling, and I think we are set up for the next wave. Like, I think we are ready to kill it again.
I would agree. I would agree. There's so many different tools out there, and I talk to investors and clients, and I'm like, because in my perspective, like this is the narrative that's changed. Is all right. When we created this last summer, we came out with it. Like Greg had been building this thing for 2 years. Like if you can imagine that. So we had this big infrastructure built out, and from last summer, I think we started seeing some AI tools coming out. I think it was like last fall, and from the bigger brands, and the business model here that they chose to take was we're going to do an AI scan, which is they just do a wrapper, and they're going to stamp their audit firm's logo, and they're going to charge you $100 or whatever it is. And that was their business model, and they were just going to do volume. That was the idea.
Hmm.
And from the get-go, like the whole idea here was to find bugs that humans couldn't find, like to use AI to do that, because one critical wrecks everything, and then you're out of business, people are out of work, a lot of money is gone. And so the goal was never about to give a stamp, it was about to go as deep as possible and find the craziest bugs. Like we all know that thing when you get to a project that is extremely complex, and you look like that meme, right? You got the cork board up there with the ropes, and you're trying to track variables, and it gets very complex, man, when you think about, just like, imagine when you've had six contracts open at once, and now it interacts with a back end, and then there's another protocol it's composable with. It could be a lot, man. And protocols are getting more and more complex every time. Like, look at optimism, right? I remember you spent a lot of time on the fault dispute game, and I think you had nightmares about it.
Still
but
do.
but projects like that are insane. And so the goal was use AI to be able to discover these bugs from a white hat side and stop these vulnerabilities in the tracks. So that was why we spent more on compute, and that was why we weren't trying to do the same business model as everyone else. And now the narrative has changed. And clients would view it like, hey, look, why are you so expensive compared to this AI scanner? Look, I just click scan, it's done, and great, I got 20 pages of false positives. And we said, hey, we don't want to do that. And we had to convince people. But now you see the narrative shifting, where people are realizing, like, hey, this is a slop factory. This is a waste of money. And they see tools like ours, and they're like, oh, this is more aligned with human quality. So we're this like hybrid human AI audit machine, and we're giving very low false positives and very high findings. And people are finally realizing, like, oh, okay, just because it's AI enhanced doesn't mean it comes with a cheap price tag and it's going to be done in 5 seconds. Like, this tool's a bit different in how it works. And so, just wanted to kind of comment on that, because I'm curious, like, because you've been using the tool for quite some time, and there's all these other products out there, and people always ask us, like, oh, how are you doing it differently? And so I don't know if you could kind of give your perspective on it without giving away some trade secrets.
Yeah, well, starting out, I can really just confirm that, looking at some of the more popular alternatives, of course, open source alternatives in the wild, uh, without claiming that nobody else does it like us, because I haven't dissected anything line by line of code or their prompts. But generally speaking, um, I am confident that we are indeed like tuned rather for depth than for breadth. We are not, as you said, trying to just scan every line, find all the low-hanging fruit, and post a 1,000-page long report. Our tool's purpose is to really go at deep at levels that a human brain will probably have like difficulty keeping tabs on. I mean, as you said, with some of these projects, it's this like a 49-inch ultra wide monitor isn't enough sometimes. And yeah, having looked myself at the past in in some project like this, it can be overwhelming at times. So yeah, we are rather targeting like such projects, and not just projects, but uh, such an approach of analysis, generally speaking. Um, yeah. Other than that, I really appreciate and do think that it's the other important component of what makes an AI tool a preferred choice is the amount of low positives. Um, I I'm I'm inclined to claim that our rate has been constantly improving, and I mean significantly improving, uh, ever since the start of this year. Uh, I don't want to spoil too much, but we might be dropping like even faster going forward. But yeah, it just saves everybody's time, having a very low false positives rate, and even though yeah, go
I,
ahead.
I was just saying, like, this is something I haven't seen cracked by anybody. The false positives thing. I think we got that right on the initial get go. Like, I'm still talking to clients, and they're like, these other tools are just overwhelming them with false positives, like an unbelievable amount. And I'm just like, this is the number one thing that you should focus on, because, like, how do you pull the signal out of all this noise? Like, it just if you have one valid in 20 false positives, it's just and we see this with wasn't it Zcash? Didn't it get reported, that bug, and then it got overlooked, probably because of sea of false positives? But you see things like this, and like, that's how bad it is. Developers, they just get overwhelmed, and what would you do? You're going to look through all 20, you're going to validate all 20 when they all sound the same? Well,
Of course not.
yeah,
Probably
it-
not. I mean,
right. You just want to go to the next. So I think giving that signal, like you have to tune it to where you're not overlooking bugs, but you're also not providing a bunch of BS for someone to wade through. And I think we got that figured out very early on, and we just continue to bring that number down.
yeah. Also, uh, I've never personally, and this is a very personal opinion, I've never been a fan of seeing like 100 informational issues in a report. Uh, of of course, there's value to everything, but I think we can all agree on a critical being like incomparably more valuable than 1,000 informationals or even lows. And I really like think this differentiates, our tool because, and I'm not just here to market it. I just have seen like hundreds of runs we are making. I just see all the data on a daily basis, and I rarely do see a low or an informational in what's in our output. I mean, I really think this is not a kind of not appreciated enough in like tooling, and yeah, just this, focusing where it matters the most and then filtering out the noise. I think this is really a hard thing to finesse and nail,
Yeah,
uh, and where
agreed.
everybody should be, uh, working towards.
Yeah, like you talk to protocol devs and you ask them, like, hey, like I would do private audits or private bounty hunts back in the day, and we come to an agreement, and I'd say, hey, it's very simple. Look, like sometimes I'd get paid based upon, I'd say, all right, I'll look for bugs, and you could pay me on anything that is higher critical. And they're like, well, how do you define high and critical? And they're expecting all kinds of rules. I said, it's very simple. I said, damage to the users or protocol, like loss of funds, where the protocol's in op, like things you actually care about. Can I freeze it? Like it's very basic. Can I really jack up your protocol? And they were like, yeah, that's a high end crit that we care about. The majority of issues, like you see it now in there's two perspectives right now. It's either the dark ages of bounty hunting because it's a bear market, or it's the golden age if you're making a lot of money. So if it's the dark ages, that perspective where a lot of protocols are closing down their bounty programs, or they're just not paying out on these bugs. This is a great sign of where we're at in the market is protocols like, yeah, the bug's legit, but we're not going to fix it. like
But
we just don't care about your little bug that you found that's theoretical or like a medium. Okay, who cares? Can you steal money right now? No, not paying. And that's been the message. So just tuning this model in our tool to say, hey, look for impactful bugs that the client cares about, um, gets us a much longer runway with clients to just say, hey, look, pay attention to this because you should pay attention to it, not because, hey, we're looking for a bounty payout.
yeah, and like a quick addition to to your theoretical medium situation. We've seen this like a painful amount of times where it's even like you can make everything stop working. Okay, here's $10. Like even for impactful bugs, I really do hope uh, we go up only very soon.
Yeah, I know you're always going to get that right where you get kind of the shaft. You know, it's an evolving industry. I've been in crypto a long time, in and out, and it's definitely maturing from, I read, I was reading Bitcoin Talk forums in like 2009 and posting in there, and built a miner later on and is mining Bitcoins and in and out of Ethereum for a long time, and doing this full time since 2020. It's it's and everyone says this, right? But it's always the coolest when it's a niche thing. It's a hobbyist thing where there's a very technical kind of wall that stops the normies from joining, and it's your own little fun thing that you do with your nerdy friends, whatever it is. Whether it's a game or anything before it goes mainstream is always the coolest period. But then when price is involved in these markets, people are like, "Oh yeah, we want mainstream adoption so we can make money," and that's been up and down with this story. But now the more I see this industry, it really is maturing. People talk about institutions are coming. Well, they're here now, and a lot of these protocols now are developing strictly for them to bring on RWAs, this real world assets where everything's being tokenized now. Stocks are going to be tokenized. And you're bringing all the financial markets on chain. We all saw like this 10 years ago where we saw the tech, and it was just a matter of time to convince Wall Street and everyone else like, hey, your tech is terrible. And you need to just convert to this cool tech that we made. It just wasn't ready though. Like, and the like when I say TradFi is coming online, they're not aping into DeFi, man. It's
No.
I don't ape into DeFi. It's too risky. Like it's cool. I think there'll be plenty of cool new ideas out there, but DeFi has some work to do, and we all know that it has a lot of issues. You shouldn't have one-click drain exploits still. Um, you shouldn't have the same bugs show up that were showing up 10 years ago in contracts today. All these are problems, man. The bounties are problems, like what you just touched on. Like, okay, here's a bug, it's legit, and you don't want to pay, but then you get exploited by the some AI black hat, and then you're willing to pay 30%. So these are the same things that keep coming up. And so we've got a lot of work to do, but the tech is being used by TradFi now, and there are permission blockchains and hybrids, and they're working around this and coming up with different solutions. So it's cool to see all that. Of course, it's sad that it's not the cool, nerdy, like hobbyist thing anymore, but that'll move to something else. There'll be another new branch or another cool piece of tech, probably that's being worked on right now, that's really niche. And you can always move into that and get ahead to that before the next guy. So I saw that with the internet. I saw that with blockchain. Like it's the same thing over and over again. So if you're nostalgic for that, there's always some new tech being built out that you could jump on that and really dive in, even if crypto isn't where it's at as far as that goes. But there is like some deep dark well of crypto, probably some obscure new idea with like who knows, like some ZK tech, some formal verification combined with AI, like some really cool stuff that you could probably get involved with now that no one knows about. That would be really fun to work on.
Or you can get into bikes and like get your hands on a four-cylinder motor and fix everything wrong with it.
Yeah. How's your so Flacco celebrate what you tell us? You celebrated your birthday. Here was the message to the team. It was like, hey, yeah, all right, it's my birthday. I'm gonna go out and celebrate. And then it was like a few hours later, a picture of your you in the hospital.
In the ICU.
Oh my god. Do you want to
Yeah.
do you want to give the story?
Yeah, worst surprise ever. Yeah, we can mention it. Like, long story short, I enjoy riding my bike way too much. And
Motorcycle.
motorcycle, yeah, a supermoto to be specific. Um,
Which I don't know if people know what super motard is. Maybe you could tell them how it's super retarded in my opinion.
well, it's literally a motocross bike, but with road tires on it, like semi slicks.
So for just think about how dumb that is. And I've been riding motorcycles a long time, and I've seen super motard. So you take the dynamics and the handling of a dirt bike meant for off-road use. So you could pop wheelies. It's got this crazy high suspension, and then you decide that you're going to put road tires on it. What does that do to the bike? Like, why would you want to do that?
Well, some people race them like they would race, super bikes that are 1,000 cc. Uh, I think the majority of people who ride, you know, supermodels are basically doing it out on the road, like on public roads, and most of them, I mean, the bike itself, as you explained with this high suspension, they're also super light and very maneuverable. But yeah, you usually people that ride supermodels buy, for the time they change 5 rear tires, they keep the same front one that they bought 5 years ago. I mean, this thing is for most people I know, basically everybody, this thing just once you hop on it, it urges you to go a little crazy, and just not ride unsafe per se, but get steezy with it. And yeah, I've been getting so steezy with it that I'm now having a cast on my left arm. uh, yeah, I can go into details what went wrong, but it probably will not be as interesting to
Yeah,
basically to nobody listening.
this guy sends me a video of him doing wheelies one day, and then the next he's in a cast. So I think, yeah, 6 weeks of recovery. I think you're almost through it. But to be honest, like I said, I've been riding a long time. I think you should get back on. I think it's just a matter of like getting on two wheels, but maybe a different bike, like not stunting, not doing wheelies, this crazy shit, or maybe just riding like even a scooter, man. It's not emasculating. Like riding a scooter is awesome. Anything on two wheels is great. I say never give it up. And I've never crashed in riding since I was 18 years old. And I've logged, I don't even know, man, probably 100,000 miles. Like I've ridden everywhere and I've never crashed. So it's all about how you ride. But I didn't do wheelies. I didn't do any crazy shit like that. I just rode, man.
Fun fact is that, like, I still hold the title for, and I'll never, retire. I hope. But I still hold the title that I've never crashed doing a wheelie. I mean, I've been flawless in that department. It's the other stupid things I do with that bike that get me into trouble. But
Oh
yeah,
my god.
you definitely are of the lucky ones that, and I hope it stays like this, because at least where I live, car drivers may not be usually are not as aware of what's happening around them, and they definitely don't have the habit of watching out for bikers. And even if you are being careful, you're not doing any stupid maneuvers or overtaking, lane splitting, anything, you can still get into trouble just because someone took a turn and smashed you into a wall, or or whatever. But yeah.
I think we branched out from security research to to motorcycles.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that the next captivating piece of tech could be outside of a computer. But yeah, there are a lot of things, as you mentioned, that what I find interesting in general terms is something hard, something that takes some time and some perseverance um, to get good at. Uh, and on another topic, given that, and these again are personal views, given that DeFi is maturing more or less, uh, it doesn't necessarily have to get boring. So yeah, curious where we're headed. I do believe as well that there are quite some things that need like a more rigorous handling and fixing, but I do, and we still do lose quite a lot of funds in hacks on a regular basis. I really would love to be part of the solution over the course of, like, I hope we solve this in a year, but I might be being a little bit too hopeful. But yeah, I really do hope we all solve this as a problem for the most part very soon.
Yeah, I'm with you. That's what we're trying to do. That's the goal. Leave a mark on the security space and do what we can to help improve. The stance of this whole industry. When there's people at risk and we find a bug, there's no bounty involved. We still like to just try to get it fixed and help everyone, like we do with Gnosis. We've done with other protocols. It's like you got to balance for the greater good and then run a business as well. But in the end, it's about finding a way to fix this going forward. And I truly think the way to do it is you have an AI white hat defense system that's autonomous, that's actively fixing bugs and preventing against these attacks. Because if you have one side running AI attacking you, you have to do the same on the defense side. There's just no other way to keep pace with this. It's impossible. So that's kind of the goal. That's where we're headed as a company. Um, Anyone that's interested in getting involved, we're expanding outside of Web3 into more traditional cyber, just Web2 stuff. If you're interested in joining us, we're looking for any Web2 researchers that are good. If you've been doing some black box testing, in white box testing, all that stuff, we're interested in chatting with you. So let us know. And on that note, I think my connection's fried. We'll see you next time on the blockchain.